Hi guys, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can. Yes.
All right, perfect. Thank you. Well, first off, um, Pedro Romero, nice to talk to you. Well, my question goes to Mr. Fallon first of all. I mean, going from qualifying for Shanghai in this TMEA to now going over here, I want to know what's been the process like for you and just trying to just move to a different country, prepare yourselves for this competition, and just trying to just adapt to the new time zone. How has that process been, and what has been the most difficult part behind that?
I think the most difficult part is just moving away from different countries because we were always playing in Istanbul in Turkey, but right now, like last year, we just played on Germany, and it was really hard for us on adapting to Germany. But I think we gained experience from last year, so there is nothing difficult on this year right now. Just difficult, I don't know, getting the other countries, getting in other tournaments. I think our teams adapted each other for that moments, and I think yeah, there's nothing difficult right now for us right now. Yeah.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? Or are there any questions in the room? Pedro, did you have another question?
Yes, I do. This question goes out just for both of you guys. Well, also first off, just covering the your first matchup in this event. More specifically, looking at
What? Can you ask again? Yes, again? Yes.
yeah, sorry about that. I had a minor issue with that. FPX, your opponent. What are your thoughts on just them overall as your first opponent in this Swiss stage? And in addition to that, which other kind of teams have you guys been looking out for? Stood out to you amidst this preparation?
Like we know, they're a different team, like than other regions. For example, I didn't watch too much China stage, and like they have different comps, different ideas, so it will be uh, different to play, I will say, but I think we will handle it. And like, I don't have a specific team to play it. Like we want to win as much as we can.
Yeah, I think there is no region we like to play in specular because I think we have to play every region because every region has a unique game style and gameplay, so we have to adapt them. So I think yeah, there is nothing particular for that.
So, got a question for both of you, if you're both able to answer. More so, covering the team's participation in this event, obviously. Compared to past years in which you guys have traveled to other countries to participate in the Masters event, this is the first time that you are, playing in home ground, playing in your hometown. And so, what's the feeling like for you to finally represent China in your own home soil?
这个问题两个人都可以回答。其实之前方 Plus 就一直都有非常多就是出国征战的经历嘛。那这一次也是第一次在我们的上海，在我们的本土中国进行了我们的本土作战了。那作为 CN 队伍CN 赛区的一个队伍，对你们来说，感受在我们的本土作战是怎样的一个感觉呢？
更加适应，然后也不需要调时差什么的，感觉也很方便啊。然后感觉在这里打，更加放松吧。
熟悉的场馆，然后对，就像刘总说的，你不用调整任何东西，对。但是这还没打，所以还不太确定会怎么样。对。
As I said, feels like we don't have to do too much adjustment for the like jet lags. Feel like more relaxed about it. And Berlin said, just like Laser said, the same venue feels like maybe there's not too much adjustments have to do, but we haven't start to play on the stage yet, so we're not really sure about it.
Final question from Pedro.
This will be a two-parter for Berlin. I just want to know, given the teams finishing at the bottom of the standings back then in Masters Madrid, what do you think was the one thing that the team adjusted from that time to now? And for the second part, what was your reaction on just knowing that you guys are going to face Foot as your first opponent in the Swiss stage?
这个问题是给到柏林选手。第一个问题呢，是想问到自从马德里大师赛到现在这段时间以来，你们的调整做得怎么样了？然后有哪些不一样的地方？然后第二个问题呢，是想要问到在第一轮的瑞士轮当中，你们将会对战到 Foot 的吗？又是怎样的一个感觉呢？有什么想法？
我觉得马德里大师赛的时候，Life 刚加入不久，所以我们那时候的磨合并没有到很好，然后战术和 Life 个人的玩法上还有一些出入，还没有融合的非常好。那现在的话已经调整得很好，然后有更多的新战术，所以我觉得还不错。然后，面对到 Foot 的时候，其实并没有太多的什么想法，因为毕竟是前面是瑞士轮，所以我们还会打到很多的对手，就是先打谁后打谁，其实没什么关系。就是 Foot 我们之前也有打过，就是像前面讲的，就是多注意一下他们的个人能力，然后我们打好我们团队的部分就 OK 了。
And so the answer for the first question is that in Master Madrid, Love just entered our team. So at that time, we still like trying to make their composition of his like own individual powers and our strategies. It feels like we are getting more and more better, and we are like communicate more and better now. And now we have created some new strategies. So feels like it's gonna be different in this Mr. Shanghai. And the second part is that we faced against the food. We didn't think that will be too special because the format on the Swiss stage we still maybe will face against the other teams. So there's nothing like really needed to consider about specially. And we have play against with Boost before. So like I just said, maybe we just gonna focus on them like what they are gonna play and we gonna target on their like individually and we gonna play our own thing well.
Thank you, Pedro.
Hello. I got a question for Lakia. Seeing you take part in this press conference reminds me of the time when you looked disappointed and just having to reflect on the grand finals loss to Sentinels back in Masters Madrid. I want to know, from that point onwards, how do you kind of look back on that result and the significance behind your growth to the present? And in addition to that, what is the one thing that you felt you adjusted the most within yourself to now be at your current form right now?
박태호 선수에게 드리는 질문인데요. 지금 이렇게 앉아 있는 걸 보니까 뭔가 마드리드 결승전 이후에 프레스를 하던 라키아 선수의 모습이 생각나기도 하는데, 이제 시간이 좀 있었는데, 지금 와서 돌아보면 또 그때 결승전에서의 패배가 좀 어떤 도움이 된 것 같은지, 어떻게 좀 라키아 선수의 성장을 도와준 것 같은지, 그리고, 이제 지금 라키아 선수의 폼에 있어서 좀 그때의 경험이 어떤 도움이 됐는지, 그리고 어떤 점을 가장 많이 마드리드 이후에 지금 현재까지 좀 많이 노력했는지 궁금합니다.
일단 마드리드 결승에서 저희가 아쉽게 트로피를 놓쳤고, 그리고 이제 저는 뭐 그렇다 치고 이제 선수들이 컨디션이 굉장히 안 좋았었고, 그거를 컨디션을 굉장히 신경을 쓴 것 같고요. 우리 팀원들이. 그리고 이제 제 개인적으로서는 저의 부족한 에이밍 능력과 그리고 이제 상황 판단 실수 그런 거를 최대한 줄이려고 노력을 하고 있고, 개인 퍼포먼스에도 이제 제일 큰 신경을 쓰고 있는 현재 그런 상황입니다.
Now, after what happened in Madrid, looking back, it was, I would say, mostly because all of us weren't feeling very well, like quite literally physically. So we tried to work on being in the best shape or form on match days after Madrid, and also individually for myself. I worked on my individual performance, being able to shoot better, frag better, and also I'm just working on my in-game decision making process and make sure that I don't make mistakes here and there when it comes to making those decisions. And basically, individual performance is something that I've been working on the most.
Yes, hello. Well,
Hello.
first off, welcome back to the Masters. Good to see you guys again after a few months of duking it out with the rest of the competition in EMEA. And talking about that, one of the talking points that kind of has been ongoing throughout this season is this fatigue, and how for certain teams that have been able to compete in, let's say, Masters Madrid, they have not been able to maintain that form just because of the fast-paced schedule and just having to play many games week by week, and just going that from regular season to playoffs. As one of the teams that have been able to continue your top form from Masters Madrid to now, how have you guys been able to just keep the train rolling and just continue to play at a good level while also thwarting off any kind of fatigue that might have settled in? And
I can answer it. Yeah, I mean, I'll start. I think, yeah, like it is incredibly hard to keep good form when you're playing these tournaments. I mean, if you look at Sentinels, like, I mean, they went from the highest of highs to not qualifying. Like, it's really hard, and it's been super hard for us as well. Keeping the same form, like all of us, we were really exhausted. I think that's kind of also why we took this break after the grand finals against Fnatic. Like we didn't have as much practice for this event. But to be honest, like, after the grand finals against Fnatic, we kind of decided, like, I mean, we had the decision whether we wanted to, practice, or if we would take a break. And I think right now, like, a break was super important for us, just because of how busy, all the games are, how busy everyone's schedule is. Flying, traveling, everything is super hard. But I think we've been able to keep good form just by, I think it's having a good team environment. I think that helps a lot, and also taking small breaks when you need it. I think that's been quite big for us. So yeah, I think that's it.
I got a question for anyone that can answer. Well, as what was said earlier on in the press conference, it's a major achievement for an Session team to make it to the Masters event. Not even for first year in their trajectory in an international league. And so my question to you guys is for you guys to continue the momentum from winning Ascension in China to then continue to fight amongst the best within your region. What do you think is the one thing that helped this team just improve so much to get to this point?
其实第二季从晋升赛开始就获得了进入我们 VCT 西恩的名额嘛，包括到现在你们也是一路征战，也是进入到了象征着我们赛区最好的战队吧，因为你们进入到大师赛嘛。你们觉得这个过程中你们最大的进步，你们是提升了哪一部分才能做到这么好的呢？两个人都可以回答这个问题。
我觉得进步上最大的是原本的我们那3个人的，不论是就是除了游戏内的进步，我觉得最大的进步是情绪上吧，还有游戏队伍的气氛上，因为我们5个人从晋升赛打上来，其实剩下的就我们这3、4个人，然后我们除了游戏内、游戏外，我们其实一直在学习怎么和队友们相处，然后尽量把游戏内和游戏外的默契都达到最好。因为这样才能充分的表达我们游戏内的东西。
So Luke's answer was that, except the things with in game, we think like the process is mainly about our mentality and environment in our group. So from the Ascension, actually there was roster changes. It's only 3 or 4 of us still in the team. So basically for this time, for all along this time, we're just trying to like get along with our teammates, no matter in game or in our normal life. And we're trying to communicate with each other like better. And now we just cooperate better in the game.
Hello, I got a question for Carpe. Given all of this conversation going on about the state of the team, how it's doing, the pressure it has within itself, and also the pressure around you guys, I just want to know, as one of the few that have remained with the roster from last season. What do you think has been the one thing that kind of changed the most from last year to this year?
일단 제가 제일 많이 바뀐 것 같고요. 일단 뭐 팀 분위기나 뭐 이런 것도 전체적으로 많이 바뀌었지만 제일 중요한 거는 제가 경험이 많이 쌓이고 하면서 제가 어떤 게임을 하고 싶은지 제 스스로 좀 알게 된 것 같고 그게 사실은 제일 크다고 생각을 해요. 저는 개인적으로.
Well, I would say the biggest difference would be me, myself. I mean, of course, we have a new roster. There's new type of chemistry or synergy around the team. But for me specifically, I was able to build up the experience from last year and also have a better understanding of the game. So I would say definitely the biggest change was, within me.
Hey guys, well, allow me to be the first one to, well, first of me to say, welcome back to Masters. Well, got a question more so just on your upcoming match. T1, and when one says T1, of course, I'm gonna ask about Saya Player, former teammate back in when you guys were a part of the guard. And so, question for both of you guys: what was your reaction when y'all guys found out about facing T1 and how that will then kind of play with your past familiarity with Side Player as a teammate?
We're definitely like happy and sad. We don't want to, one of us is going to have to lose and it's not going to be us. So it's going to be sad for Saya, but at the end of the day, it is competition. So it's how it is. But, we're very happy to see him. We've seen him a couple times, at the hotel and also here at the venue. And, it's just always good seeing your boy. So.
This question goes out for both of you guys. Given the quick turnover from end of VCT America, so now I'm wondering on how you guys have just been faring in terms of just preparation. Flying over to China, having to deal with jet lag and just having to get accommodated to a new landscape. How has that kind of process been, and have you guys been affected by having to do all of that stuff in the lead up to your first match?
Definitely like the first couple days, we were all jet lagged. We were all going to sleep at 5 o'clock and waking up super early. But with time, now I go to sleep at my normal time and I wake up at the same time I do as if I was in LA. So we've definitely accustomed our sleep schedule and we've been really honing in on like how we want to play these matches and like how we want to do what we do best. And so we're definitely going to be very ready for these matches. And yeah, the main thing was just the sleep schedule and making sure, we're eating. So that's pretty much it.
Hey guys, well, first off, welcome back to Masters, to both of you guys. Pleasure to have you guys back in this stage. Got a question for Boostio, but also you can answer this if you would like. Of course, when one mentions yourself and China, of course, there's some story, some history of within that combination going back into last year when you were in EG. Now that you are in China and just are getting ready to take part in this event, I just want to know just sort of what's your assessment of just the Chinese teams compared to how you kind of assessed it from last year.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think my opinion changes much from last year. I think the Chinese teams are still definitely the weakest teams out of all the regions. I think it's like not even close. I think probably none will make it out of the Switch stage, and then EDG will be the only team left. I think out of all the teams remaining, EDG is probably bottom two, especially from the first seed. It's the worst first seed out of all the regions. So I'd say overall, my opinions are still the same. Like, we should destroy them.
As I'm sure that it's been asked beforehand earlier on in the conversation or in this press conference, you guys are of course playing on home soil as the first seed from VCT China, as the team that has just been performing the best out of everyone else within the region, international wise. Do you feel a different sense of pressure, as in greater pressure, now that you are playing on home soil as first seed and just having the hopes of a nation, one might say, supporting you guys to have a deep run? And this is for Kong.
这个问题想问到康康选手的是，这次你们也是作为赛区当中的第一号种子，然后参与了我们上海大师赛，第一次本土的大师赛。那你觉得说会不会给到你一种特别的压力？可能会说你要面对到其他来自各个赛区的非常优秀的队伍，以及说你们是作为1号种子，大家会对你们有很多的期待，是期望吧？会感受到压力吗？
我觉得这一点大家都有在往好的一个方面去做吧，就是希望抛开一些杂念，因为作为一个职业选手，如果太多杂念的话，在舞台上肯定是不能够展现出100%的自己的。所以说，我们现在就在想着如何去进步，如何让自己去抛开那些不必要的杂念、不必要的一些压力，然后让我们打得更好，然后让我们更在赛场上更享受比赛吧。
Basically, we just thinking about doing things well and don't think too much and just present ourselves, show ourselves, and show what we can able to do. And as a pro player, if on the stage you are thinking too much, is not about the game, not about the competition, that might affect you badly. And for all this time, we think you are progress. We are making a lot of progress. So maybe not give too much stress on our own shoulder. Just do our own things well and present what we are capable to do.
Hey guys, good to see you guys back in Masters after a good while. Good to see you guys now feeling better, looking better. And speaking of better, I want to direct this question to Leo. Of course, you didn't feel well back in the EMEA finals, and I just want to have an update on how you're feeling. Do you feel you're back at 100%? And also on top of that, what kind of, well, if you want to answer, if not, I understand then, what kind of made you not feel well?
Yeah, I mean, going back to the playoffs, I mean, was this? I had COVID right before playoffs, or like some kind of sickness. Pretty sure it was COVID. I was probably sick like 2 weeks before the playoffs for the whole that. Then the first day, I guess liquid, I started feeling better. Felt better the whole way, but obviously playing 5 days in a row, you feel very fatigued, and it's like the recovery is not good because obviously it's like we meet at 12, and then they finish like 10 hours later. And then to end the tournament with 2 best of 5s, it's just super fatiguing. And I mean, I guess my body just need a rest. I mean, now probably not 100% yet, due to traveling and stuff. We're not playing for another 10 days. So I mean, should be fine until then.
Guys, good to see you guys again. Once again, in another Masters competition, and more specifically, Jing. Good to see you again back in that level after previously appearing in Champions. Just sort of now comparing how it was when the feeling was that for you that you were going to retire and just step away. Did you ever think you would be able to return to this position, back in as a player and just having to just return to your old ways?
I mean, like keeping my form definitely because I know that like as long as I like believe and put in the work, I can become good, if not like even better than I used to be. So yeah, for that I wasn't really worried.
Commiserations on the serious loss. Obviously, not the way you guys wanted that to go. I got a question for Rossi, or anyone else can chime in if they want. Of course, you guys were in a position to take the series in Map 3, leading 9-3 at the end of the first half, but then, of course, obviously, you guys let that slip away. What do you think went wrong for the team in that second half, and how difficult was it for you guys to just kind of recover from that time frame?
I think in the second half of the third map, we felt pretty calm. I feel like when during the atmosphere, everyone was pretty good. Like there was things that were going wrong, but we were actively talking about it and talking about it thoroughly, and I was very happy about that. I just think we kind of strayed away from the game plan initially, and then they gained momentum, and then and they made a lot of good individual plays because I mean they're a really good team, of course. So just a mixture of starting off bad and them having really good individual moments and us straying away from our game plan was definitely the issues I'd say that happened.
Question for Autumn. It was mentioned a little bit about just the team dealing with pressure and how that kind of affected the team's performance in the later stages of the series. Do you feel that was the biggest difference in how the team performed overall, not just focusing on the third map, but just the entire series?
I can see probably I can say the pressure was the main reason why we have this result. But in my opinion, I don't think our players feel that lots of pressure on this match, and that's why I have positive point from these guys. But for me, the main part we lost some important round and some certain maps and certain situation. For me, uh, that can be fixed earlier if, as a coach, if I focus on more in our practice, probably it never happened on the match. So probably it's a problem of my preparation and my fault.
I got a question for Carpe. You know, with this result now sends you down to believe I'm not sure how to describe it, but more so I think lower bracket of the Swiss stage, be it as it may. What's the team's mindset going to have to adjust, or what's the team has to adjust in terms of mindset in order to return with a better performance at the very least in the next match?
저 중간에 못 들어가지고 뭐였죠 질문?
다음 경기를 위해서 멘탈 관리도 그렇고 좀 마음가짐 에 있어서 어떻게 준비해야 할지 물어봅니다.
물론 저희가 오늘 진 게 정말 아쉽지만 사실 저희가 좀 객관적으로 생각해 보면은 저희가 잘한 부분도 많고 그리고 저희가 절대 영승 2패를 하지 않을 팀이라는 거를 저희 팀원들이 다 안다고 생각을 하고요. 진 건 정말 아쉽지만 저희가 좀 단단하게 멘탈 잡고 팀으로서 오늘 뭐 했던 실수나 이런 것들 하지 않게 준비해서 네, 돌아오면은 잘할 거라고 저는 믿습니다.
Well, it definitely is a disappointment to not get that win today, but objectively, when you look at our performance, there are a lot of things that we've done well today, and I don't think we're a team that would go out of this tournament without a win. And I'm pretty sure that my teammates, we all know that we can be better than this and that we can have a great run in Master Shanghai. So I guess we'll go back we'll go back to our hotel and regroup our mentality and make sure that we don't make the mistakes that we made today, return with better performances.
Hey guys, commiserations on the series just now against FPX. I got a question for Mr. Fallen. You know, despite this loss coming to you guys at the very end, you guys were in a position to win the series in your own right, especially on map 3. You know, going ahead 10-4, but unfortunately, FPX came back, just sort of covering that point. When did you start seeing things going wrong for this team against FPX?
Yani kaybetseniz de aslında maçı kazanabilecek yani bayağı bileğinizin hakkıyla kazanabilecek durumdaydınız. 9-4'ten sonra artık yavaş yavaş dönmeye başladı FPX. İşlerin ters gitmeye başladığının tam olarak nerede fark ettiniz? Yani maçın onlara gidebileceğinin farkına nerede vardınız?
Belki her son şeyden bahsediyorum. Ben en azından son bir şey bahsedeyim. Genel olarak oyunun belli bir kırılma noktasında bir iki clutch ve bir iki yanlış hamleden dolayı aslında Icebox'ın tamamı gitti. Oyunun en başından da bahsedecek olursam oyun içine çok fazla giremedik oyunun en başında. Seviyenin ilk başında biraz daha alevli, biraz daha oyun içine dolabilseydik çok daha farklı bitebilirdi. Sadece oyunun başında giremediğimiz için biraz geç açıldık. Icebox'a da tamamen o kırılma noktasını kaybettiğimiz için elde devam kılmak.
Oyunun başı dediğin bütün serinin en başı mı? Okay. In Icebox, there were a couple points where we couldn't secure the rounds, clutch rounds, which led to FPX winning the match. And also, the series as a whole, we had a hard time getting into the series, catching our rhythm. Had we caught our rhythm earlier in the series, maybe starting from the first map, this could have gone differently and we could have secured the series. But we had a difficult time catching our groove, getting into the game.
Yes, hello. Commiserations on the loss.
I want to ask a question to Keen, going off a little bit about what Gokit said about difficulties that the team encountered from that series against Gen G. What do you think was the biggest challenge for you as the IGO in trying to lead this team against a team such as Gen G in a match that transpired as it did today?
I mean, it was a hard match, as we said, because they played really good. They did a lot of things that we weren't maybe prepared. For example, the pass plan they had on Breeze was pretty rough. We were late to adapt, and I mean, yeah, they were doing good stuff. They were kind of catching us off guard, and it happens. It's the first match. We have to check it, and they play really good.
Congrats on the win. I got a question for Solo. Piggybacking a little bit on the topic of maps, on Lotus, you guys won obviously on that map. And it's a continuation of a very dominant form in that map. 11-2 so far in 2024 for this team in that map. For you, what do you think makes this team so dominant in Lotus?
솔로 감독님께 드리는 질문인데요. 올해 젠지가 로터스에서 11승 2패거든요. 그 때문에 왜 젠지가 로터스에서 강하다고 생각하시나요?
음, 저희가 팀 만들 때부터 저희 HSK 코치가 좀 약간 공을 많이 들인 맵이에요. 로터스가. 그리고 선수들도 좀 로터스에 대한 자신감도 좀 다른 맵에 비해서 넘치고, 음, 그냥 다른 맵에 비해서 저희가 좀 더 자신 있고 잘하고 있는 것 같아요. 그래서 뭐또 계속 이기다 보니까 자신감이 생기는 것 같고, 네. 네. 그리고 저희 로터스 뭐 그렇게 잘한다고 생각하지 않습니다. 네.
Well, since the beginning of the time when we started putting this roster together, our assistant coach HSK, he put a lot of time and work into our Lotus, and it's something that we all feel very confident on. And I don't know, I don't think we're that strong or that good or dominant on Lotus, but it's just those winning streaks as well on this map that gives us the extra confidence boost.
Hey guys, congrats on the victory today. Got a question for Neil. Going a little bit off of the recent question about, to Wood about first appearance or maybe something like that. Either way. Going from Madrid to now, given the team's young age, but also addition of experience of appearing on the international stage, how have you viewed the team's collective maturity? Learning from the first international to now, how have you kind of viewed that process, be it pros and cons and stuff like that?
Yeah, I think the guys have done really, really well. Like coming from Madrid, it was a lot of their first ever kind of like international events, and we had two really hard games there. We played Sentinels, who ended up winning it, and then Paper X, who I think were top 3. So we learned a lot from those games, and I always say it, like we learn a lot from the losses, especially with the roster this young. But that's kind of like why we built this team. We built it with people that could learn from the losses, and they've all got such a good attitude. So, yeah, no matter what happens in Madrid, no matter what happens here, it's only going to be positive for us because these guys just learn so much when they win or lose. So, yeah, I'm just really happy with how they've progressed.
Hey guys, likewise, congrats on the W. Great job taking down Heretics today. Got a question for Valen and Jonah P. I mean, it seems looking at map 3, you guys went to a different dimension individual-wise. I mean, just walk me through how you viewed your performance, in that final map and how that kind of put a cap on the series overall.
Like we said before, we were winning pretty much every clutch possible that game, and I would say just having those clutches go our way brought a lot of momentum to the team and a lot of hype. And we just kept it rolling. The last round, I mean, I don't even know what to say. That they played that terrible. Like the amount of individual mistakes they made to just feed me 1v1s. Yeah, I mean, they didn't want it as much as I did, clearly. So I just capitalized off of it.
I think for me, I had a slow start to the series, but once map 3 hit, I felt really good, you know. And like Jonah said, winning those clutches, starting off hot, kind of boosts up momentum and gets you loose in the server, right? You got rounds to play with, and from there, like you take more risks. Maybe there was a round I would say I made too much of a risk, and I'm very disappointed in myself for just throwing. But with that, like you know, the balance is that I just feel very good in the server. I trust everyone around me, and they trust me. So when you start a game hot, it's pretty easy, at least for me, to just all the pressure is gone. Like you got rounds to play with, alt cycles in your hands, and you're just flying everyone. It's a great feeling.
Bustio said in a pre-event press conference before the start of the tournament about how he, with the chance of being the first seed from Americas, has the chance or would pick you guys as a potential opponent in the playoffs. Just want to know, you know, how do you kind of respond to that? Your reaction to that, and would you guys also prefer to have that rematch against 100 Thieves?
Bring it on. I mean, they're a team. You know, they beat us every time, but we got a lot of experience versus them. It'd be easy. So pick us.
His fake facade doesn't faze me.
Hello,
Pretty
guys.
cool.
Fortunate on how the series transpired for you guys, but you guys did an admirable showing, despite the loss. Hopefully, you guys can continue that later on down this year. I got a question for Berlin. You already talked about it just now in the recent question about the final round. Just covering that, what was going through your mind when it was that 1v1 situation with you and Boo, and you were just trying to look for that final kill as the time transpired? You know, what was your thought process like in that time?
继续延伸刚刚的那个问题，就在刚刚最后一局的残局的时候，当你在跟他在打1v1对枪的时候，你的脑海当中是在想着些什么呢？玻璃选手。
其实对面跳下来，然后假装禁烟，想要断我装包的这个想法，我是有想过的，然后我也觉得他会这么做，但是我觉得不知道可能太紧张了，我们并没有遵从自己内心的想法，把包按下去，就是觉得可能慌了吧，然后想去打他，因为他太近了。
Actually, at that time, I have predicted that maybe he will jump and do a fake move to enter the smoke and trying to scare me. At that time, I was too nervous and panic. Seems like although I have already predicted that, but I was so nervous to see the whole situation out, and seems like he was too close to me at that time.
More so, again, looking back on this team's performance, if there's one thing that you would want the community to kind of remember how this team performed in this event on home soil, what would that one thing be, and why?
这个问题所有的选手都可以回答。就是回望我们这一次大师赛的旅程，因为我们也是本土作战嘛，如果有那么一个瞬间，或者是有那么一件事情让你特别的印象深刻，在你的脑海当中的话，可不可以跟我们分享一下呢？
我来说吧。就是第一场比赛我们打 Foot 的时候，那一场我们很艰难的赢下来了，那种全场的欢呼声，然后粉丝们就大家那种欢呼声真的让人久久不能忘怀。然后当天晚上回去我睡觉的时候，脑海里都有那种画面，然后很多粉丝的欢呼声，然后这样就真的很沉醉其中。然后我也很尽力的，就是想要去再来一次，但是只可惜我觉得我发挥也不是那么好，所以没能再赢一场。所以不过那种感觉真的非常的棒，非常神奇。
So Iron's answer was that when our first game with Food, actually it wasn't an easy game, but I can't forget all of the fans there cheering for us, and I can't forget that image even after I go back to the hotel. I feel like I want this win again, but unfortunately I didn't play well today, and it didn't happen, but that kind of thing I can never forget in my mind.
Hey guys, likewise, congrats on the victory. Quite a very intense series to come out on top of, but still, you got the W nonetheless. We got a question for Boo. I mean, looking over into the final round of the final map of the series, you were in that 1v1 situation with Berlin. I already asked Berlin about his thought process on that round, but I want to know what were you looking at? What was your mentality like when you were going through that final round? And also to the rest of the team, what was your emotions like? Also, just having to go through that and just squeaking past FPX at the end of there.
Yeah, so for me, when it was 2v1 and it got to like 10 seconds, I thought it's unlosable. Because like he tries to plant, I'm pushing him, Rians is staying alive, and like there is just no time for him. And then Rians dies, and I instantly went from super high to super low. Like, oh shit, like now I need to, play. So yeah, I expected that the harbor cove would be closer so I can jump in, but it was too far. Then there was like double smokes or maybe close plus the harbor one. So I pushed in and I saw that there is another smoke and I was like, no, I'm not going in because I could just suicide. Like he will instantly kill me. So I went back hoping that he would stop planting and he did. And then the last milliseconds when he went through watching like to one side and like there was like 0.1 seconds where he could have flicked me, but he didn't. And yeah, and that's it. So it went from easy to super hard. But yeah, I still won somehow.
Go. Yeah, from a coach's point of view, I was shitting myself. Like that's the only way I can say it. Like it was not fun to watch, but always trust in Boo in the clutches. Yeah, never any doubt. Ice cold. Yep.
Commiserations on the series loss. My question goes out to Texan and Calm. I see you guys feel, obviously disappointed. I just want to know what do you think was the biggest difference between your team and Foot in this series from your point of view?
I think we just needed better spacing and try to play together a little more and punish them on their aggressive plays. I think they had a really good game plan. They're really feeling it. Their mechanics are insane. They were just snowballing. And their play style, if they're feeling it, it's really hard to stop. So I think for us, just playing together more and making plans better.
Yeah, I would say for me, it's very similar. I mean, for me, obviously disappointed in myself, but I think overall it's, didn't go our way this time. Everything that Ian said, pretty much same thing.
Next question goes to Pedro.
Appreciate the little chime in of the song King. Really appreciate that. Got a question for GoKid. More similar to the previous question that was just asked, but more so just where do you kind of see the difference in level from this Leviathan team compared to what you've seen out of the other teams, if you're able to, in this Masters, and how do you kind of see the gap in that regard?
What do you see in other teams that made a gap compared to us, you said?
Yeah.
I mean, I think it was a pretty equal game, so I don't think like it's like we're like way below any team. I just feel like there are just like, as I say, certain situations that are maybe a bit advantages for us, and not winning these situations is going to punish you against the top level teams. And that's pretty much what I feel like we can improve. It's not like we are very far from winning these rounds. I just feel like we just need to be a bit more determined maybe on these situations, and yeah, now we have some time to fix it, and that's gonna help.
Likewise, congrats on the victory. Got a question for guys. You mentioned a little bit in a little interview during the broadcast for the series about how you kind of gotten inspired from watching Crew to devise a strategy for the team's performance in Sunset. Going into that, if you can elaborate, if not, I understand. What was the one thing that stood out to most to you that you felt you had to adapt or adopt for the team's strategy for this match?
Bu yaptığımız koç röportajında şey demiştin ya, aynen, Ru'yu izledik. Onların Leviathan'a karşı taktiklerinden bir şeyler geliştirdik diye. Orayı biraz daha açabilir misin? Ru'nun yaptığı şeylerden
hani en çok öne çıkan, bunu biz de yapmalıyız dediğin şeyler, düşünceler, planlar nelerdi bu maç için?
Ya ilk önce Kuru maçına gelmeden önce Hunter Thieves'in yaptığı yanlıştı aslında. Kuru'nun yaptığı ortaya çıktı. Yoksa direkt Kuru'yu izleseydik büyük ihtimalle ortaya bir şey çıkmazdı. Hunter Thieves'in yaptığı yanlışı Kuru yapmamıştı. En azından maçları analiz ederken peş peşe ettiğimiz
T1
için.
değil miydi ya?
Ne?
T1 mıydı? T1 değil miydi yanlış yapayım?
Ben dedim ki
Hunter Thieves dedi.
Özür dilerim. Hunter Thieves geldi. T1'dı. Hı hı.
Okey.
T1'ın yaptığı hataları Kuru yapmamıştı. T1 farklı, Kuru farklı oynamıştı. Onların nazaran Kuru biraz daha farklı bir oyun tarzıyla gelmişti. Onların da asıl en büyük problemi şuydu. A'ya yavaş çıkan takımlarla ilgili bir sonuç alamıyordu Leviathan. Bunu T1 maçında antileyemedi T1 çünkü
A'ya mı dedin? Nereye?
A'ya.
Ha, anladım.
Stun'la sürekli A'yı kimse tutmuyordu. Stun'la sürekli çıkmaya çalışıyordu T1. O yüzden de bunu Kuru yapmıyordu. Kuru yavaş çıkıp kontrolünü almaya çalışıyordu info vermeden. Aslında ki main hedef buydu. Karıştıysa toparlayın.
Eksik bir şey olursa beni bölersin girersin araya. So it wasn't just Crew that we followed and tried to adopt their plans. It was T1's mistakes that Crew didn't replicate that we analyzed and followed in our own games. In T1's games against Leviathan, they would usually try to get A quite early by giving up a lot of info. And Crew wouldn't do the same. Crew would play much more slowly without giving out as much info. So that's pretty much what we followed. We figured out that Leviathan had trouble against teams that played slow and didn't rush into A side. So that's pretty much what we did.
Yes.
Likewise, commiserations on the series. Given the result of the draft, you guys ended up with Genji as the last team to be picked. Just want to know what was your guys' reaction like, and also what was the preparation like in terms of just trying to find ways to defeat them and anything else of the like.
Yeah, actually, we want to play with Genji. Actually, we was talking about before we picked, like before it left, and I want to say the team, guys. I want to play with the most strongest team because I don't want to start with weak team. I just want to play with Genji, and if we win tournament. But we lost. I think we learned. We're gonna learn much things because we couldn't win so easy. Yeah.
Question goes to Boaster. You already mentioned a little bit about just the team's mindset, having takeaways from this series, and then looking a little bit ahead to the future, and a little bit of thoughts on from Alpha here as well about food. But still, for you in particular, what's the mindset like going to be like for you to try to orchestrate a deep lower bracket run? Not that you guys are dropped down in the first obstacle to the lower bracket. So yeah, biggest adjustments for you in leading the team for the road ahead.
For me, it's like the sooner we can reset. So as soon as we get back, we got to reset and get back on the grind. We're not out of the tournament, and if you want to go to the Mercedes-Benz Arena and play in front of the big Chinese fan base, then this is it. We've come all this way, and to lose now in a rubbish fashion is not what I signed up for. I want to stay in it for the long run, and I want to win the trophy. So I'd say just you gotta maintain positive. Keep the energy up. We're not out of the tournament, and like when we get back into that room, it's no messing around. It's full focus, fix what's going wrong, and let's go into the game because we were definitely shooting. I think it was just we weren't thinking. So I think if we start thinking and start doing what our kind of win conditions are, we'll win the game. Yeah, and then it's just lower bracket grind. So just like people are going to be seeing sunset again if we make it to the final. Yeah.
Congrats on the victory over Fnatic. I want to direct this question over to Munchkin. I want to focus on the third and final map and how it was pretty much a back and forth affair. At one point, I believe Genji lost multiple eco rounds and stuff like that. How difficult was it for you to kind of fend off Fnatic in that third and final map, and what kind of made the difference for you guys to eventually come out on top?
원중현 선수에게 드리는 질문인데 이제 브리즈에서 이코 라운드도 많이 내주고 좀 많이 어려웠을 것 같은데 어떻게 이렇게 역전을 해냈는지 그리고 역전을 하는 중에 어떤 점이 가장 어려웠는지 궁금합니다.
일단 이코 라운드는 브리지만 그런 게 아니고 전체적으로 많이 따였고요. 그래서 이코 라운드 때 조심하자 했는데 상당히 이코 라운드 때 더 잘하더라고요. 그래서 내줬고 3세트 때는 지고 있는 상황이었지만 설마 우리가 이렇게 쉽게 질까? 라는 생각을 하면서 그냥 생각 없이 그냥 계속 상대 것만 생각하면서 콜링하면서 이겼던 것 같아요.
Well, it wasn't just the breeze. It was just we were losing ecos all across the series today. So when it came to those eco rounds, I was telling myself and my teammates, we need to do better and we need to watch out to make sure that we don't drop those rounds. But even when we were behind and playing from the deficit, I felt like there's no way we're dropping the series this easily. And I just focused on what they were doing, trying to get a good read and also try to give good calls for my teammates. And I'm just so glad that this comeback was possible.
I got a question for Forsaken, going a little bit off of what Alex said regarding the team's issues against G2. In the server, what was your impression of your opponent, and also what was the biggest challenge for you in terms of just facing them and everything that they brought to the table?
I think Alex just told me like just play your game and then just like try to focus on your aim first rather than like your utility. Maybe he has a good point. I think about G2, I think for them, I would say they really sharp. I think especially like on map bind, we don't have like momentum to beat them. They have like a good strategy. I would say all the utility like on point today. So yeah.
Likewise, congrats on the victory. I got a question for Icy. I mean, looking at this series and how it transpired, you definitely took it into another level, especially on that third map. And it's an improvement from what we've been seeing out of you so far in this tournament. Well, question is just sort of how do you view your improvement so far as this tournament has just started, and also what kind of went right for you in that third map and against PRX?
Throughout the entire series, I just felt like I was in my shots, and my IGL Valen was in flow state all series. I felt like, or at least the last few maps. And sorry, but it just felt like when he's in flow state, it just allows for like all us other 4 players to, just capitalize off that and just play our own games. And I just felt like I was also in flow state, like kind of bouncing off of Valen and my other teammates. Just felt like we overall played great today, especially in the last few maps. And like for me, just felt like I was hitting my shots. And I was also in flow state.
For many people, G2's victory over PRX was a statement win, and just one that disproved all of the doubters that surrounded this team and how this series will play out. For you, Valen, how would you kind of look at G2's form after going through a series like this?
To be honest, I'm biased because I'm the IGL, but I've always known we were a capable team of doing this. Like, it's not really shocking to me, or it's not like a proving game or a statement victory, at least for myself. Maybe for the outside people, it's like, oh, G2's insane. But all my guys around me, we know that this is something that we can do on the regular. It does feel nice to, I guess, gain that respect from people that we're good, but I don't mind. Like, if we're the underdogs, if you want to pick us first, whatever, we're trash. Like, keep that, and we'll just keep doing our thing game by game. I think what helps us throughout these matches is our coaching staff like prepping us a lot, because you go through different play styles and different pacing versus like these different teams internationally. And Jack or Peter and Josh, they prep us really well for these kind of teams. And so when we throw in a mix of good preparation from them plus good players and just doing our own thing, it's a nice mix to be able to compete against anyone, right, including Paper X today. So felt nice, kind of like proving to ourselves.
This question goes to Josh. It was mentioned a little bit during the press conference about how you prepared this match against PRX. I understand that you don't want to reveal too much, but still, in terms that you can reveal, what were some of the biggest aspects that you were looking at within this PRX team ahead of this match that kind of set the stage for you guys to come out with the W?
I think it's no secret that one of the keys to victory against, or keys to like beat Paper X, is to control their aggression. You know they're going to be an aggressive team. You got to be able to stop it, and you got to understand what their pacing is like. So a lot of this week is just understanding, identifying, like, and figuring out like what are good plans to beat that kind of team. We weren't able to put that together in map 1, but map 2 and 3, we executed well.
I got a question for Kang Kang, more so just looking at how you perceived the biggest issues that EDG experienced in today's match against Team Heretics. What do you think was the biggest issue out of all of them from your eyes?
这个问题是想问到康康选手在今天对阵到 Tier 4的比赛当中，你觉得你们面对到的最大的一个问题是什么呢？
我觉得我们太慢热了，就没有把东西放在，就是也不是说没有把东西放在，就是没有完全的进入比赛的节奏，然后就打的不是那么放得开，然后可能更多的问题就是出于我可能没有更专注于自己，去为团队去造成更多的优势吧。所以说，我觉得下一场比赛我们会做一些改变，改变就是让我们更快的去适应比赛的节奏，让我们更快的去分析场上我们该做什么。对。
His answer was that actually we feel we have a really slow start today. Seems like we are so slow to get in the pace of the matchups. And for me myself, I didn't focus on myself in the game, didn't to make enough advantages for my team. And for the next matchup, I think we're gonna do some changes, like to adjust to the pace more and trying to read what's happening on the stage.
Thank you. We'll go next to Tommy from Gosu Gamers.
Hi, first of all, I'm so sorry for your loss. My question was, we're playing against Team Heretics in your home will give you more pressure than more than expected.
Which player you wanna ask? Like,
anyone is fine. Maybe Kang can.
这个问题大家都可以回答，就是因为我们也是本土作战嘛，那在对阵到 Team Heretics 的时候，会觉得压力会多于更多的觉得大家对你们的期待吗？
我觉得还好吧，就反正东西那是我们自己没有打好，就自己在场上去做的不好，并不是粉丝给我们的鼓励啊或者什么会对我们造成什么压力，对我来说。然后反正还是希望下一场比赛我们能够更快的进入比赛的节奏吧。
I would like to say the pressure is fine. It's our problem didn't play well today. It wasn't because the expectations from all of our fans. And for the next matchup, we think we definitely gonna like get into the game faster.
Thank you. And I think the last question, we have one more question from the room. Go ahead.
就是那个，我想帮竹内亮导演问一下，然后他有事，然后不在。就是刚刚我们是和就是向康康提问，刚刚我们是跟康康哥哥一起在看比赛，然后他说感觉你今天有一点僵，就是有点紧，就是你对这个是怎么看的？
就没有放开吧，就太慢热了，感觉自己。确实我今天没有打好，然后也没有做到我应该做的事情，所以说我觉得这是我没有做好的一点。然后我觉得，毕竟下一场比赛明天就要打嘛，所以说我觉得没有必要去沉浸在现在的失误。我觉得毕竟都经历过这么多次大赛了，反正我们也喜欢打那种背靠背的那种赛程，这样的话能够让我们更能够融入比赛里面去。所以说，我觉得明天我们应该会打得更好。对。
谢谢。
Question is from director Junei Liang. And seems like we watch with your brother to watch today's matchup together. Seems like you're a little bit nervous about today's matchup. What do you think about it? And Kong Kong's answer was that
was that actually, yeah, of course, we didn't play really well today. Seems like I didn't do things I should do. But I think tomorrow we have a matchup, so we didn't like to like just to focus on today's loss. But we have experienced so much international tournament in the past, so we are got used to those kind of matchups like back to back. So we need to focus on tomorrow's matchup.
Thank you. And we'll do the final question from Pedro Romero.
Question goes out to anybody that can answer. Of course, as first seed of the Chinese region, of course, you're coming into this match as hometown team, or one would say. So, just sort of covering what was the experience like playing in front of a home crowd and just playing on home soil, and also, in doing that, did that play any factor in just the team's performance and just having to meet the expectations of being the Chinese representatives?
Could you repeat the second part of the question?
Yeah, more so looking at their appearing in front of a home crowd, did that play a factor in just how the teams perform in terms of pressure, nerves, anything else of the like?
OK，那我们也是作为新赛区的1号种子，现在本土作战嘛，感受怎么样？以及说，其实现场有非常多为你们加油鼓劲儿的粉丝，你们会觉得说这种情况会给你们带来一些压力吗？谁都可以回答这个问题。
我觉得就这个赛场对我们来说还是比较熟悉的吧，就可能没有那么多不习惯的地方，然后本土作战也影响的因素也其实不多。我觉得就是今天我们属实是自己没打好，我觉得跟可能压力上面可能我们会给自己有更多的压力吧，但是我觉得当职业选手他压力就是需要去怎么讲去抗压的，没办法，这就是这个职业本身，对，然后也要学会释放吧，对。
And so a coach after his answer was that actually this venue is pretty familiar to us. And as the local team, I don't think there is a too much factor will affect our team performance. And today it's just we didn't play well ourselves, self problem. And seems like as a pro player, you need to deal with the pressure. That means you can give pressure to yourself and you need to deal with it. And then you have to know how to release that.
Hey guys, likewise, congrats on the W, progressing to the upper bracket semis. Great job on that. I got a question for anyone to ask, more so, as we all know, Miniboo's not in with you guys in Shanghai, but he is supporting you guys in spirit, and of course, I'm sure you know that he's been kind of cross-streaming, observing your games, and just supporting you guys. I just want to know, how have you viewed, his support and his presence in spirit, and just having to continue playing, continue competing, while also doing it in a way that you're doing it for him as well, on top of just doing it to win.
As you should answer.
Yeah. So, we all appreciate Miniboo's effort for us, while streaming anything, and we are not only playing for Miniboo. I want to say about something Weber as well. So he's not with us here. So we play for Brandon Weber and Miniboo at the same time. So we all miss both of them, but they are not here. But this is what it is. So we just play for them. We love them. That's it.
I also add one thing to that as well. What Inessa said is very true that we're playing for Miniboo, for Weber, but also in my opinion for Patty. I'm so happy that Patty gets the chance to show himself on the bigger stage again. And the way he performed in the last couple of games has been absolutely incredible. So, that was another big thing about getting Patty back. It was to show everyone what he can do. And I don't know, bro, if he doesn't get a chance in the tier 1 team now, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah,
I think we've built a pretty good roster this season. I can safely say that. So take it from our talent scouting that Patty is fucking incredible and he deserves to be on a tier 1 team. So yeah, what he contributes to this team, it really, really helps fill the gap that Miniboo is leaving right now, So yeah, that is a legend.
I want to mention one more thing as well. Also, like, all the people like that are on our side. Like, I mean, we've got Pablo, our anti-strat, our analyst. We've got Mo, like our chef, Abby. Like, there's a lot of people that we can bring to Shanghai. So yeah, we're just doing it for all of them.
Another question again to the rest, to everyone who would like to answer. Of course, looking at the team's trajectory earlier on in the year, you guys weren't able to win a single match in Madrid, but now you guys are top six at the very least, winning against all of China and also impressing everyone in the process. When you compare how the team performed from that stage to now, um, what do you think was the biggest difference that just sparked everything to go right?
There you go. Okay. So basically in Masters Madrid, I'm not gonna lie, we had like a really, really strong opponents, which is like Sentinels and Paper Rex. Like Sentinels just won the tournament and Paper Rex were top three, I guess. But I'm gonna be honest, like in this tournament we had like I don't know, worse opponents, like worse than worse compared to Sentinels and Paper Rex. So also getting like first win hypes you as a team. I think it hypes everyone. Qualifying for playoffs also like spark everything in the team. So yeah, I can answer that.
I think as well, one thing I'll add to that, like Masters Madrid was like the first time on stage for almost all of our boys, like on an international level. So that was like a huge learning curve. Like Enna said, we played two really, really strong teams. It was very close games, and we managed to learn quite a lot from those ones. So it was like invaluable experience. So I think it's just a combination of everything, like Enna said as well. We didn't have to play Rex and Sentinels in our first two games, so yeah, it definitely helped us build some confidence.
Hey guys, commiserations on the loss. Tough way to go down today against Genji in the upper finals. Still got another chance. And speaking of that, you got a date against either the winner of Heretics or 100 Thieves. Just want to ask for anyone that'd like to answer your impressions on either team as a potential opponent and everything else of the like.
I think we're very confident versus whoever wins. I think we know that we kind of tossed a couple of rounds against Genji, and that gave them momentum, made us on the eco, gave them ults, like just everything along that. So, and Genji has beat both of those teams, and we've also beat one of them. So it's just we're very confident against whoever wins.
Got a question for IC. Texture has been playing as one of the best in this tournament so far, and his form continues obviously in this series. Just want to know on a head-to-head kind of point of view as the duelist, how do you kind of what are your impressions of just Texture before the series, and also how do you kind of view this performance after this series, and how do you kind of match up to that from your point of view?
Going into the game, like I obviously knew that Texture is an insane player, and for me, like as the duelist, I don't really look into like the duelist matchup. I kind of just like think of it as our team versus their team, and just how we match up that way, rather than like one specific player. But I do think in that game he was playing really well, and he was very disruptive, and like made it pretty hard for us. And some of the rounds pretty tough.
First off, congrats on the victory and progressing to the grand finals. And speaking of the grand finals, it's another chance for you guys to reach that stage and win an international trophy. I just want to ask for anyone within the team, given the fact that you guys been able to go back to back in terms of finals appearance, has there been any similarities that you've seen within the squad in terms of like chemistry or just strategy building? In regards to just the team's form from Madrid to now?
아무나 대답해 주시면 되는데 이제 다시 2연속 국제전 결승전 무대를 밟게 됐는데 그 마드리드 때랑 비교해 봤을 때 뭔가 팀의 어떤 분위기나 아니면은 뭐 준비 과정이나 모든 거에 있어서 좀 그때랑 비슷하다고 느끼는 부분이 있을까요?
마드리드 때랑 비슷한 부분은 일단 저희가 저희 자신을 자신들을 믿고 있는 부분이 일단 비슷하다고 생각하거든요. 근데 나머지 다른 부분들은 저희가 이제 멘탈 관리하는 방법 잘 알고 있고, 그리고 이제 감독 코치진과 저희 선수들이 이제 퍼즈 걸고 이야기할 때 어떤 식으로 좀 더 효율성 있게 이야기를 할 수 하는지랑, 그리고 어떤 식으로 풀어나가는지 그런 부분이 좀 더 는 것 같아요.
I would say one of the similarities is having the ultimate trust in ourselves and what we can do. But when it comes to the difference compared to the Madrid grand finals, I would say we have better grasp of how to stay focused and also how to reset our mentality. And also we have found a more efficient way to communicate when it comes to talking with the coaching staff during the timeouts.
So far as this year has transpired, we've been seeing this team just have an excellent chemistry both inside and outside of the server in terms of just observing the team in content videos and everything else. So like just you guys joking around and just having a good time in whichever setting there is. That said, my question goes out to anyone that'd like to answer. Just so more looking at the team's chemistry, how have you guys been able to just have a great camaraderie so far this year as a collective, and how have you been able to just translate this familiarity slash chemistry from outside of the server to inside of the server this year?
아무나 대답해 주시면 되는데 젠지 선수들 사이에 케미가 참 좋은 것 같은데 어떻게 이런 전우회 같은 거를 계속 이어갈 수 있는지, 그리고 이런 게임 외적인 케미를 어떻게 또 서버 안에서 보여줄 수 있는 건지 궁금하다고 해요.
일단 저희가 젠지 창단 초창기 때부터 서로 노는 걸 되게 좋아했고요. 제 오른쪽에 있는 텍스처 선수가 술을 또 많이 좋아해가지고 조금 저희를 많이 끌고 다녀서 그런 식으로 해서 처음에는 친목을 좀 도모했고, 그 이후에 이제 인게임적인 케미는 그냥 현실에서도 친하다 보니까 저희가 이제 거리낌 없이 연습이나 그런 것도 잘 되는 것 같고, 네, 그런 식으로 해서 인게임에도 드러나는 것 같습니다.
술을 많이 마신다고요?
술을 많이 마셨었고,
아.
그냥 저는 이제 제가 술을 좋아해서가 아니라 이제 좀 다 친해져야 되니까, 예, 그러기 위해서는 이제 그 자리가 이제 꼭 필요하다. 그래가지고 좀 많이 다녔던 거일 뿐입니다.
네, 알겠습니다. So ever since we put this roster together, we really like to hang out, and especially when it comes to texture, he drinks a lot. He's like a whale and a heavy drinker. So he was the one initiating those team bonding activities, including the alcohol. And because we had that bond going outside of the server, we were able to carry that into the server, and practice went great because of the friendship and the bond we had, and we're able to carry that onto the stage as well. So I asked Texture, but in his defense, it's not like he likes to drink a lot, but he really wanted the bonding experience for the team, and he thought alcohol might help with that. So he does not agree that he's a heavy drinker.
Thank you.
Texture is shaking his head.
Munchkin.
But Munchkin is shaking his head. I'm sorry.
Got a question for Boostio. Obviously, looking at this series, it started off with a very close affair in map one, but then that of course, we saw what we saw in map 2, vastly contrasted that. For you, what was the biggest contributor behind just the massive shift from map 1 to map 2 and just struggles? And what do you think caused that, from your point of view?
I don't really know. I feel like on Bind we played pretty good, like pretty like decent overall. Not our best, but pretty decent. They played very well. And then I think on Sunset it was just like what Tony said as well. Is like they were just hitting some nice shots. Every fight I took, I just felt like I couldn't kill anyone. But I mean, I feel like game plan wise, like what we did was pretty good actually. It was just I think they were just aiming better than us today, and they were playing very well. I feel like every time I peeked, I was peeking into like 2 or 3. I feel like I had like low info as well, so I don't know. I think they just played just better than us today, to be honest. And the Sunset wasn't even close, so there's props to them.
This question goes out to everyone within the team, just sort of looking at your biggest takeaways slash lessons just from taking in this first international event together as a unit of this version of the squad. What do you think was the biggest lessons that you feel you will take away from this experience for the domestic competition in a few weeks' time?
Improving Sunset.
Yeah. Sunset improvement. I mean, I think we all gained confidence as well. Like making any international as like a new roster is like really awesome. So I mean, we've just got to bond for the last 3 weeks together because we've been in Shanghai like just as a team. So we're literally hanging out like 10 hours a day. So I mean, like we got good bonding experience. We got got to play more matches together compared to the other Americas teams besides G2. So I mean, we should be coming into stage 2 just way more confident than everyone else and just overall better.
Likewise, congrats on the victory, a pretty resounding victory at that against the 100 Thieves squad. That coming into this was looked at as one of the contenders for the title. Well, gotta ask about Sunset. I mean, another dominant showing, another W, another victory in that match specifically. I mean, question goes out to anyone that can answer. What makes you guys just so dominant in that map for this year?
Do you want me to answer you? I'm not going to give too much away on why we're so good at it, but I think everyone just has a very good understanding of the map. I think we kind of like found the best agents and it fits our players really well. And we already know kind of like what to do if someone tries to anti-strat us. So yeah, I just think we understand the map really well. We have answers for almost everything. So yeah, I think everyone just likes it. It's comfortable for us.
Got a question for Woot. I mean, just gotta ask about your individual performance. 51, 28 KD, pretty good showing, I might say. But yeah, just how do you kind of look at your performance and what made you play so well for you in particular?
I think I'm getting best support like in the world. Like my teammates always helping me. Also, our comps are helping me as well. So I think we are countering them in a game plan, and I'm just using that game plan and killing them. Like that's why I have good stats as a duelist. I think it's all because of my team.
This question goes to Neil. Given the fact that, as it has been mentioned a few times already in this press conference, the familiarity between you guys and G2. Given the fact that you guys played each other twice beforehand and lost both times, as at that. How do you think that familiarity will play into tomorrow? Given how it will be a best of 5 and there'll be a lot more maps to play, and a lot more maps to choose from. Compared to those past 2 encounters.
Yeah, I think it'll be a really fun game and a very, very good learning experience for me, for Boo. It's going to be a late night for us tonight. But yeah, I think I'm just excited to play against them again. And for us, it's a completely different game. Like, honestly, the last 2 games don't really count, in my opinion. Like, we have the chance to have a kind of a fresh start and have another go at it, So we got some stuff. I mean, we got a lot of stuff right when we played them last time, I think. That's fair to say. And we learned a lot from the reasons why we didn't win. So yeah, we're just going to focus on ourselves, focus on our prep, and take the lessons that we've learned already. And I think it was Boo that said earlier, we focus on our fundamentals and ourselves. We've got a very, very good chance of making it to the grand final.
Commiserations on the loss today. Going down, it's always a tough thing to go through, but it was one that happened very late in the tournament. And talking about that, not many people would expect this team to go so far, finish 3rd, and outlast the other NA teams that people looked at as contenders all the while. But my question goes to anyone that would like to ask. For this team to go so far, play so well, outlast the other 2 NA America's teams, what do you think just helped this team just spark this run and just play so well and just go so far?
I've been preaching this message throughout this tournament, since our run in the playoffs in the Americas, that we're here for each other, we're supporting each other always, and it reflects in our team play. We were touted as like a team that's like highly disciplined, don't throw away advantages. We know how to like grind out rounds and build up like a mental resiliency out of it. And that's just kind of the approach. I felt like that is a more consistent approach to shutting down like star duelists, teams that are kind of like high investment into a certain player, like we can shut them down. And so I personally like that brand of Valorant myself, and the boys embody it. They love it, and I try to have like a sort of culture outside of the team or outside of the game to also reflect that. So a lot of the stuff we do here, like we're always together, you know. We're enjoying the city, taking walks and all that. You know, it's been a very like good tournament for us to grow. And so it's no real secret really.
We'll go to Pedro Romero first then.
Yes,
Go ahead, Pedro.
yes. First off, I'd like to just speak out of everyone here in the media to say congrats to everyone for winning this championship. An historic moment for this team, but also for the region that you're representing. Well, first I want to ask this question to Lakia. I was able to talk to you back in Madrid and just ask what it will mean for you to win the title. And you said about how you will be able to think about all of your best difficulties and the road you took to reach the top. And so now that you are at the top, what was that moment like for you? You know, to in lifting the trophy, the trophy.
박혜아 선수께 드리는 질문인데요. 마드리드 때 이분이 이제 만약에 우승을 하게 된다면 어떤 의미일 것 같냐고 물어봤을 때 그동안 너무 힘들었던 시간들이 생각날 것 같고 이제 그런 시간들을 이겨내고 최고가 된다는 건 참 의미 있을 것 같다라는 얘기를 해주셨는데 이제 진짜로 트로피를 들어 올리면서 최고가 됐잖아요. 어떤 생각이 들었고 지금 어떤 마음인지 궁금합니다.
네, 힘들었던 시절들이 이제 다 지나가고 저한테는 인생의 굴곡이 많이 있었다 생각하는데 결국에 또 높은 위치에 이제 또 잘 되는 인생이 됐는데 너무 행복한 것 같고 네, 또 앞으로도 더욱 열심히 하고 더 잘하고 좋은 일들만 가져가면 좋을 것 같아요.
For me, I had a lot of tough moments and ups and downs in my life. It was just like a roller coaster, my pro journey in Valorant. But today finally marks the new beginning of my career, you know, starting on the right path. And hopefully, I have many more good moments and great chances in the future. And with this, I will be, working harder and try to be a better player, stronger player. And I hope that we have many more good moments to come.
I got a question for Solo. Of course, you know this team was down 2-1 in the series, and it was in a position where Heretics might have taken the series, and maybe it would have been them in this press conference. But still, you guys were able to turn it around, winning in Lotus and then in Map 5 as well. Asking to Solo, what do you think changed within the team, just going from the end of Map 3 to Map 5 to then eventually tie the series and then ultimately come out on top? You know, what was the biggest catalyst in just making that turnaround happen?
솔로 감독님께 드리는 질문인데요. 그 1대2 상황에서 자칫했으면 헤리틱스가 오늘 트로피의 주인공이 될 수도 있었는데 젠지가 그래도 잘 이겨냈잖아요. 그래서 1세트와 2, 3세트 그리고 2, 3세트와 4, 5세트 간에 어떤 차이가 있었고 또 오늘 승리를 판가름했던 요인이 무엇이라고 생각하시는지 궁금합니다.
저희가 1세트 때는 그냥 저희가 원했던 그림대로 상대방이 브리지를 못하는 것도 알고 있었고 그래서 좀 쉽게 잘 흘러갔는데 이제 2, 3세트 때 이제 점점 저희가 밀리다 보니까 저희가 원래의 젠지 모습이 아닌 약간 다른 팀이 와서 게임하는 듯한 그런 분위기가 되면서 지면 또 우승을 못하나? 약간 이런 생각이 있었던 것 같아요, 선수들이. 이거 또 우승 못하겠다. 그리고 막 저희가 원래 자신 있게 하는데 약간 그런 플레이들이 적게 되고 그래서 2, 3세트 지고 나서 저희가 솔직히 로터스 때는 후회 없는 경기를 하자고 했어요. 그래서 더 자신 있게 하고 더 과감하게 하고 이런 플레이들이 다시 또 저희 본래 젠지 모습으로 돌아와서 4세트, 5세트까지 이기게 된 것 같다고 생각합니다.
So the first map, we knew that Team Heretics had a weak breeze, and everything was going accordingly to our plans, and it was just an easy win for us. But dropping the second and third map, it was as if we weren't playing like Genji. We just weren't playing like ourselves. And the thought hit. We were saying, are we going to let this slip again? And it came down to, oh, we are going to let it slip away. We did lose confidence during those two maps, but heading into Lotus, we talked to ourselves. We said to ourselves, you know what, let's leave nothing behind and let's play with extra confidence and pull some crazy plays. And starting from Lotus, we were able to play like the Genji we knew once again.
Pedro?
Yes, yes. Pushing over to texture. I mean, just sort of similar to one of the past questions I was asked to everyone within the team, but more so just looking at you. Last year you were part of global and just not being able to compete for the top spots in Pacific, and then obviously not being able to compete in the international stage. For you to have this great improvement in your individual form, and then be a great contributor to this team's performance on the domestic and international side this year. How much does winning this Masters event mean to you, and the significance of it to your career and everything else like?
텍터 선수께 드리는 질문인데요. 작년에 G에서 좀 국제전 출전도 못했었고 그렇게 막 엄청 성공적인 한 해는 아니었잖아요. 근데 이제 젠지에 들어와서 텍스처 선수의 개인 기량도 훨씬 더 좋아졌고 많이 돋보이는 것 같고 또 이렇게 지역 리그에서도 그리고 국제 무대에서도 팀이 너무 좋은 성과를 거두고 있는데 이번 우승이 텍스 선수의 프로 커리어에 있어서 그리고 텍스 선수의 인생에 있어서 어떤 의미일까요?
제 인생에 있어서는 또 한 번 있을까 말까 한 성적이라고 생각을 하고 있습니다. 물론 챔피언스 뭐 내년에 있는 또 뭐 마스터즈 이런 것들도 당연히 성적을 똑같이 우승을 하고 트로피를 들 수는 있지만 저는 이 트로피를 든다는 게 물론 우리 팀원이 너무나도 잘하고 이제 실력이 좋기 때문에 드는 거는 당연하다고 생각을 하지만 어느 정도는 운이 좀 따라줘야 된다라고 생각을 해요. 그래서 저는 이 운이 평생 갔으면 좋겠습니다.
I think this trophy is kind of a once in a lifetime type of a thing because we do have champions coming up and masters in the future next year, of course. But and you can win the whole thing, but of course it takes you and your teammates to play your best game to lift the trophy. But that's not all. You also need a little bit of luck on your side as well. So I'm just really, really hoping that I stay lucky for the rest of my life.
Yeah, this question goes out to anyone that'd like to answer. Vision Strikers couldn't do it. DRX couldn't do it. Newturn couldn't do it. Paper X couldn't do it. And practically every other Pacific team, Korean team, APAC team couldn't do it. But you guys did. What do you think just made it happen for this team to just go this far, play so well, and just come out on top and win an international trophy in this occasion?
아무나 대답을 해주시면 되는데 그동안 뭐 VS, DRX, 뉴턴, 페이퍼렉스도 못했고 퍼시픽 팀, 코리안 팀, 에이펙 팀도 우승을 하지 못했는데 젠지가 해냈잖아요. 젠지와 그동안 좀 이렇게 국제 무대에서 우승에 도전했었던 팀들과 어떤 차별점이 있는지 그리고 젠지만의 특별한 점이 무엇인지 궁금합니다.
일단 제가 목록에서 나왔던 두 가지 팀에 있었는데 일단 저희 선수들의 개개인 기량 및 그리고 이제 저희의 게임 방향성 그리고 이제 감독 코치들의 게임 방향성이 매우 잘 맞았다고 생각을 하고요. 그리고 네, 저희의 실력과 저희의 노력 그런 게 포함된 결정체인 것 같습니다.
Well, I was on the two teams that you've mentioned on that list that have tried to win the whole thing. But when it comes to Genji, I think it's the individual talent from each and every player, and also being able to stay on the same page when it comes to how we want to play this game, how we prep for the matches, and how we interpret this game, and also our hard work as well. So I think this trophy is just a symbol of all the great work and the individual talent and all the grinding that we've been doing.
Got a question for first off for Karen. At this point in last, it would be fair to say that not many people, or if any at all, knew about your name and knew about your presence and just knew that you were playing the game at all. To go from that to here, joining the team, being a part of the team, improving with the team, being a champion with the team. I mean, how do you kind of look at your progression from the start to now, and have you also been kind of surprised for how fast you have grown and how fast you've been an international champion?
서런 선수에게 드리는 질문인데 갑자기 혜성같이 등장해서 큰 임팩트를 남기고 있잖아요. 그래서 젠지에 합류했을 때부터 그동안 스스로 성장해온 과정, 그리고 오늘 우승하기까지 좀 본인의 성장이 굉장히 빨랐는데 스스로도 좀 대견하고 놀라운지, 그리고 이렇게 빨리 좀 트로피를 들어 올릴 수 있을 거라고 믿었는지 알고 있었는지 궁금합니다.
일단 처음 들어와서는 저희가 스크림을 해봤을 때 매우 잘 됐었고 그런 부분들에 있어서 우리 팀 잘한다 그런 생각을 많이 가지고 있었고 그 다음에 이제 경기를 뛰면서 이제 제가 부족한 부분들도 형들한테 피드백 많이 받고 그런 부분들이 겹겹이 쌓여가지고 저희가 마드리드 때부터 이제 우승 가능성이 있는 팀에서 상하이에서 그 끝을 이룬 것 같습니다.
So my first scrim with Genji was when I realized, oh, this team is super strong, and competing on stage, playing land, starting from kickoff, I received a lot of feedbacks from the teammates, implemented them into my game, really tried to add to my game, and from there we just went from a team that are not the favorites, but that are able to win events. And it's just a lot of hard work and feedback and growing together that kind of accumulated. And we ended up just winning the whole thing in Shanghai.